Hello, welcome to Intuitive Insights.
So today we're going to be talking about another portal that's coming up. So many portals.
So many portals.
So this portal specifically is for leap year. So that's 11/29/2020. And what Kassia was challenging...
11?
Oh, yeah. Did I say 11?
You said 11.
Oh, my God. Did I say 11/29?
11/29.
That's weird.
2020.
Okay, so there's obviously an importance around 11, but that's 2/29/2020, which...
The 29 breaks down to 11.
Right.
So 11 is part of it is a master number that is associated with the... I almost said 429. with the 229 portal. It's obviously an interesting event because it only happens once every 4 years. Well, not once, every 4 years it happens.
Yeah.
And so every 4 years we have the 2 and the 29. Mm-hmm. So we have a 2 and an 11 energy every single year that it happens.
Yeah.
But then we also have the individual breakdown of adding the year in numerologically, which shows us the energy for that specific leap year's portal, which this year is an 8.
Right.
Yes. So lots of numbers going on. We're not going to go too crazy into the numbers. We're just going to feel mostly into the energy of it. Mm-hmm. But the 8 is a big energy just because it has to do with a lot of what we've been feeling around this portal, which is about karma.
Yeah.
So 8 is the number of abundance. It's also a karmic number. Mm-hmm. And we are clearing out a lot of karma right now to make room for that abundance. Mm-hmm. And a lot of, lots and lots of karma. So it's a lot to wrap your head around, and sort of what we figured we would do is what we always do, which is just kind of start talking about it, and once the conversation gets flowing, the messages just sort of come out. But there's a lot going on around our cleaning up our individual karma. We have we like to look at it as it's sort of like a ripple in time.
Yeah.
It's because it only happens every 4 years, and it's sort of like an extra day. So it's this anomaly, this extra day in the year where it's sort of like we are kind of jumping in time.
Yeah.
And so it has a lot to do with different timelines, and a lot of our past life energy is what we're feeling, at least specifically for this one, is clearing up those old karmic cycles from lives other than this one. It can be this life, but a lot of it will be past life kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah.
I feel like...
Yeah, I was just thinking about how, when you were saying that, how it plays out in this lifetime, but it's... Right. So it may feel like it's from this lifetime, but a lot of it is energy residue from other timelines that is looking to be wrapped up. And then... we were kind of discussing this before, and we were talking about how this portal, because it is giving us the opportunity during this ripple in time to seal up the portals of energy that are still playing out in this lifetime. So imagine this energy field around you, right? And it's like a circle. And then there's certain openings in your energy from past lives, which we're going to look into with the cards and see what past lives are playing out or still being leaked into this energy.
Yep.
And it's giving us the opportunity to seal that portal in our auric field, and then complete that karmic cycle, so that energy no longer plays out in our lives. And we will go more in, more detail will be revealed in regards to how, what that would look like, and how you would know that that's a karmic pattern when we get into it with the reading. But that's kind of like a good vision on what this is, and the ripple in time, and then the sealing of those openings in the auric field.
Yeah, so, what I was thinking is, when you were sharing, so it's sort of like the way to look at it is the past life is the root.
Right.
So we have the behaviors and we have the thought patterns and we have all the things that come up in this lifetime that a lot of times, you know, subconsciously influence the way we interact with other people, the way we see the world. Even it can show up sometimes as like irrational fears and phobias that we don't understand where they come from. So all of that stuff is showing up in this lifetime, but the root of it is from past lives. And so what we're getting an opportunity to do right now is to come in and clear up that past life energy and really once and for all deal with that issue so we're not carrying that over into our current life anymore and it's not influencing us. And because it's really frustrating when something influences you on a subconscious level because you don't even know what's going on.
Yeah.
And it can often reveal itself as just like being triggered by things and having no idea why, having these old unconscious sort of dramas play out, and you're like, I don't even know where this came from or why I'm angry about this, or like why, like I get why this upsets me, but I don't know why it upsets me so much.
Right. Yeah. Like because the emotions are charging that thought form, and because that thought form that's still leaking into the auric field, there's a lot of emotions tied in with that because of that timeline not being sealed, with the idea that energy is fluid and time is an illusion, but for the mind to really like comprehend this portal and this energy and the awakening process, it's really helpful to look at it in the perspective of linear time or the perspective of all these times happening simultaneously as well. But just keeping an open mind on that like you were saying, like when those behaviors are playing out, it can become really frustrating. I know for me, things were coming up and things have been coming up, which kind of brought us to talk about this. And I was like, wow, that makes a lot of sense why I'm reacting that way. Because I wouldn't have reacted that way, you know, yesterday or 2 days ago or a month ago or whatever. But because that past life pattern of, I'll just start, for instance, like a past life pattern for me of being like enslaved or like being a slave. So therefore my energy was very much rebelling against certain things, because that past life pattern was like coming up to the forefront. And I was wondering why I was feeling so, not resistant at all, but just rebellious to anything that was trying to limit me or keep me boxed in something. So that's just an example of how that can come up. But it can become really confusing because it doesn't seem like it would be a past life pattern until we look at it from an outside perspective. So yeah, so we're getting an opportunity to close that past life stuff out. We're also just getting an opportunity in general to have sort of a really intense look at ourselves from a higher perspective of, you know, regardless of whether, you know, because we're clearing that out, whether it's from a past life, whether it's from this life, we will get some clarity and understanding around that if we need it. But also just really understanding and seeing our thought patterns, our drive, what drives us, what motivates us, all of this, what behaviors and patterns are getting in the way of us attaining the things that we do desire. And being given a chance to kind of step beyond that and decide once and for all, like, am I done with this? You know, and when we can look at all of that stuff that's coming up from a place of love and a place of self-love and self-forgiveness, and then we can release it and we can move on. And when I was thinking about this, I got this image of me in this, we'll say this physical body right now. And then it was almost like I could see like my energy leaving this body and entering another body, which also looked like me, but it was like a different version of me. And so that's sort of another factor in this whole ripple in time thing, is like I get to choose what me do I want to be. Right.
And part of how I get the power to do that is by really getting this flash of understanding of like the me that I am now. and like, oh, okay, so that thought pattern, that way of behaving, that's not really who I am, and that doesn't resonate with me anymore. That's old trauma, that's old programming, that's past life programming and past life trauma. And really being able to see and differentiate and understand that and be like, okay, well, now that I know what that is, I can let that go.
Yeah, not like attaching to it. It's very much giving us the opportunity to detach from those patterns, because the ultimate truth is that none of those things are our identity. Those are not us. Granted, it's like we always say, it's good to take responsibility for that energy, to remove the victim mentality in regards to it. But it's like, my essence is divine and sovereign, and I'm a very powerful being, soul, having a human experience. This is my avatar body. I can choose what I want to attract by, not just by my thoughts, but by what I'm going to feel emotions towards. Like, what emotions are tied in with what thoughts. And then kind of questioning those, which we've been talking about with belief systems and all that, and kind of questioning those things. And it's like, well, why do I believe that? You know, is it because someone told me that once when I was like 5, and now I just, you know, believe it every day, and then it continues to attract certain things. So and this energy very much ties in with a lot of other things that we've talked about in our past videos in regards to wow, that's so weird. It just literally just left me.
Really?
Yeah.
We're not supposed to talk about that, apparently.
Yeah. Oh, no. Well, it wasn't this specifically, but it was. It's about how. Wow, it happened again. Oh my god! Oh, it's so frustrating. It was something about us shifting timelines. I know that, but it's about how we get to choose what we want to be attracting, but it's about the emotions. Yeah, spirit does not want me to go down that road. I like keep trying, and it's like keeps like cutting out. So I guess that'll be for another day. But
yeah, because I was getting ready to try to hone into it, and I was gonna start like being like, oh, I think maybe this, but now I'm like, no, you know what? Yeah.
That's so funny. I must, sometimes spirit does that, and maybe it's because, who knows really why. I usually don't find out until later on, and then I'll be like, oh, that makes sense. Why I'm not meant to do that, but, so basically in regards to this portal and this specific energy for 229, this leap year, this ripple in time, we feel like there are going to be, we had talked about there may be certain things that come up to give you the opportunity to complete that energy. So imagine the completion of that, but it's almost like a ceiling and like the ending of a lot of soul contracts and possibly the beginning of a lot of new ones. And we can choose to not face those things, and there will be more opportunities in the future to seal those portals and those timelines in our energy field in regards to certain thought forms and behaviors that come up. But this is a really good opportunity to really cleanse and release anything that you don't want to carry with you into your life.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, something that came up that I was reminded of while you were talking was this other thought that I was having about how we are being given the opportunity now to close out old soul contracts and to wrap things up. And I think sometimes people, if you're aware that you're sort of living out a karmic situation, or you're evening out with karma with somebody, which some of us at some points are in relationships, I think sometimes people feel like we don't, like they wonder, like, okay, so when is this wrapped up then?
Right.
Like, how much time am I supposed to invest into this in order to clear that karma? And the fact of the matter is, like, once we get to a place where we feel that it's completed for us and we've learned the lesson, that's how we know, is when we have the understanding and the wisdom of what we were supposed to learn from that experience. Because karma, when we talk about karma, a lot of times I feel like people think that it's like punishment. Yeah. Or it's like a tit for tat kind of thing.
Yeah, like karma's a bitch.
Right. Like it's some sort of like, oh, I did this, so now I have to be punished for, I did this in that life, so I have to be punished for it in this life. And that's not what it is. It's just an evening out of energy, a balancing of energy, which the two.
Yeah, that makes sense, the twos.
Yeah. It's the balancing of the energy, and it's all about the lessons. Mm-hmm. There's a lesson that we have to learn from being on both sides of a situation. And that's part of what, karmic is. Like, we experience what the other person experienced when we're talking about, like, for instance, karmic relationships and stuff like that, so that we can understand and gain that wisdom. And once we've gained that wisdom, it's complete, at least on our end.
Well, that's how karmic energy works. And this is actually brings up a really interesting topic around karma, because when we do certain things or take certain actions and we attach, or for me, when I attach the idea of, well, that's karma, or, that'll come back to me, or, something like that, it really just depends on perspective on it. Because say I am interacting with somebody and I feel like I'm perceiving it as that I'm going to receive a negative return of energy on that. That's only because I'm perceiving it as that way. But if I was perceiving it as if I was looking at it from a higher perspective as, well, this is something that we had to play out in our lives. I was teaching them something, they were teaching me something, and that would seal that karmic energy immediately. Versus, perceiving it as, oh, now I'm stuck in this for God knows how long, because, like, I'm reaping what I sowed in however many lifetimes. Yeah, it's like, once we get the understanding, like, a lot of times I think once we figure out that it's karmic, that's almost like the closure in and of itself. Yeah. And so it's like we can complete that karmic cycle whenever we want. Right. And also, another thing is we may not understand, like, part of the other person learning the lesson that they're supposed to learn from that karmic interaction might involve us deciding that is complete and moving on. Yeah, it's really is based on how you're perceiving it. That is how you are attracting things, and that goes in alignment with these timeline shifts that we're talking about, and how they begin inward and then ripple outward, that way. Yep. And I feel like a lot of that ripple in time that's happening is in regards to when things come up on that day or around that day for that energy, that like 24-hour period of that one day that happens every 4 years. It's really, there's like a portal of a very like metaphysical, spiritual energy that's going to be available to us to, it's going to make it a lot easier for us to say, well, I learned this lesson, they learned that lesson, I trust the divine, I trust that, all this happened for a reason, and now I'm choosing to complete that cycle by knowing that karma is clear, versus thinking the other way, like we were saying, like, this is karma, this is what I did, why do I keep behaving this way, why do I keep reacting this way, or something of that nature. So. Yeah, and that's the self-mastery. Right. That's where the 11 energy comes in, is where we're mastering that aspect of our energy and of ourself. And right now that self-mastery is around, understanding these lessons about karma and gaining the wisdom from these experiences, and then closing that out. Because until we close those cycles out, our energy isn't available for the next phase of our journey and our evolution as a soul, because our energy is still being held hostage. I don't want to say held hostage, because we're holding it. If we don't allow the karmic cycles to complete, then it's being held hostage by our own selves. Yeah. Right, but our energy is tied up in that still. So we have to see these things through
we have to allow them to come to completion when the time for that happens, and then we get to move on to the next phase of our journeys.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because when you were saying that about the 11s, and then for that new cycle, it really, I kind of was given this information about how, like, 1 1 2 2 3 3, like the very beginning of integrating self-mastery abilities, but the 1 1 would be the beginning of new abilities.
Yes, the 1 1's the awakening. The 22 is the self-mastery.
Right.
Yeah, which is funny because we just had all the 2 2 portals.
Yeah.
But yes, so thank you for bringing that up too, because that clarifies that. So the 11 is the awakening, the original awakening number. So
we're always awakening. So it's funny because we're always awakening to new parts of ourselves. There's no like, okay, I'm awakened. Yeah. I did it. Awesome. Like, I graduated. Enlightenment.
I'm a little more awake. Now I get to wake up more.
Oh, yay. So it's really exciting, though, because now it's like, oh, awesome. Like, now I've learned new things about myself, and I'm able to, like, that's the joy and the excitement about living on this earth and having the opportunity to be here, because there's always new opportunities to learn more about this body and this experience and, like, what I'm able to do and manifest and, you know, all this stuff. And when we release all the subconscious things, or like the old timelines, or like sealing up those portals of energy that we no longer want to continue to attract, then that opens up space for us to integrate more of our soul truth and divinity. And that's why I feel like I was drawn to the 11, because it's that new beginning and that new cycle. But it's 1 1, so it's numbers
are great. We'll be doing more on numbers in the future. Like, there's so much there. Yeah.
That's amazing. So
that's a whole rabbit hole we can't go
I know.
down
I
think we were thinking the
I know. I was
thing,
like,
and
God.
Stop.
I know, but we're going to all in due time. So.
Yeah, but that does make a lot of sense, though.
Yeah.
You know, like the numbers and the time travel and the portals, the fact that the portals would be signified by numbers, and we're always doing some sort of time traveling or some traveling during these portal energies. Like, the energies are traveling out.
I know. Oh, God. It's amazing!
Yes. Yeah, we're going to get into the cards now.
Yeah. Okay. Spirit's like, okay. It's like I feel like we're given the information and we start channeling, and then I can see it. I'm like going down, and Spirit just cuts me off, and I'm like, what the fuck, bro? Like,
it's like it's for another day.
Yeah. Okay, so what we wanted to look into for the people that are tuning into this is what past life patterns are being revealed on that day, on this day, or whenever you're watching it, because this is time is an illusion. So even though this is timed, even though this is labeled a ripple in time, it's going to resonate for you whenever you watch this video, and I feel like there will be a lot of people that are going to watch it after. So I just want you to know that.
I mean, just because we're doing a video about, you know, leap year. Doesn't mean that it's not like we're not closing out karmic cycles and we're not doing all this stuff at other times as well. So it could be going on for you at any time.
Yeah, and there could be something about, so the special thing about this date is because I feel like there's a very, like, beautiful energy that we're being gifted with on that day to make it easier and giving us the opportunity to close those things out with ease. But whenever you watch this, that could be being given to you by other forces during that time too. So yeah, that's a good point. I think it's just the energy's more accessible on that day, but it's still accessible at any time. Yeah, and it depends on your soul journey. Oh, that was interesting.
What?
So I was getting ready to ask what karmic cycles were coming out, and the Five of Swords is there. So this card, what this is saying is self-sabotaging behaviors and betrayal. So there could be a past life patterns where you were either betrayed or there's like a pattern of being afraid to be successful, because in the past when you were successful, there might have been negative consequences in regards to that. So there's like a self-sabotaging energy that may be being shown to you through your thoughts, and it also shows how he's walking away from that energy as well, and he's walking away from people, from two separate people as well. So this can be a really beautiful energy, because it does represent, fives represent positive changes. And then this is also about walking away from that and ending that. So, yeah, and that card was already flipped over before I even started shuffling. So that's really interesting. So, Spirit, what past life energies are coming up to be healed? What story do you have to tell the people that are tuning into this video? Okay, so we have death, transformation. Yeah. So I'm feeling like there was a past life where either there was some form of, which this came up when we were talking about it anyways, but some form of like persecution, or feeling like you have to walk through struggle to get to the light. But I feel like what's being released now is the need to struggle, or is to grow through struggle and to grow through challenges. So, and as you can see in this card, he's like moving towards a portal. It's like, it's right here. There's two pillars in the light, and he's moving towards the light. So because we're asking about past life energies, I feel like, yeah, I feel like this pattern is something about, I need to get more clarification on that. So Spirit, what do you mean by the death card in this past life pattern that's coming up? What do you mean by this? Can you give us some clarification on this? So it's something about releasing the fears of being successful. And then we have the Three of Cups. Yeah, so it's about receiving, because the pages are messengers. So it's being okay to receive that cup and that love, because cups are emotions, those new emotions, and celebrating that, because there's a lot of fear around like celebrating successes, because with this card that came out, it's feeling like, when's the shoe gonna drop, or am I gonna self-sabotage, or am I gonna fail in some way? Because in a past life when there was success, and I'm being shown because he's on a horse, he's like of authority or something in regards to knighthood, and my third eye is pulsing right now, so that is usually a good indication that I'm onto something. So there's a past life in regards to having like an empire, and then it fell to the ground, or it like something in regards to harming others, or so the pattern that's being released is allowing that cup to come through, and then allowing yourself to celebrate and rejoice in that energy. So this is also about the threefold goddess, and awakening and celebrating that. So I want to see, we're going to ask, this is the Mystical Shaman deck, Mystical Shaman Oracle by Alberto Velado. Call it Baron Reed. Yeah, I'm probably not pronouncing any of those right, but that's okay.
You saw the picture.
Right. Exactly. It's that. So, Spirit, can you please tell us more about this past life pattern that's coming up? Spirit's being very, like, intellectual about it because it's a thought form. It's like the thoughts around it are very much like maybe like procrastinating about certain things or not wanting to do something that you know is towards your goal, because there's this past life fear of claiming your power and your divinity, because maybe in a past life you abused your power and divinity or something of that nature. Completion and eagle. So I'm going to read these to you. Okay, so we will read. So there's something about having a bird's eye view and seeing things from a higher perspective when it's playing out. So that goes in line with not with being emotionally detached, like observing the thought form that's coming and knowing that that's not true in this physical reality right now.
Yeah.
And releasing that energy. And saying, like, I've learned my lesson. I know that I'm not going to abuse my power. Or I know that I can be in my power and not self-destruct. Or
yeah,
something.
I was picking up on a different energy, too.
Yeah.
Of past life fears around being ridiculed or being harmed for sharing your light.
Yeah.
So people who were maybe put to death for sharing their gifts and embracing their power.
Yeah.
People who were threatening to the authority. And so they were killed, they were cut down. A lot of light workers and people who are now stepping into our power. Like the things that we do and the things that like this channel.
Yeah.
The things we do on this channel were considered witchcraft. It was considered heresy. People were killed for doing what we do now over a medium on the internet where anyone can watch. And it's, as more and more people can start stepping up and into their power and embracing their light, a lot of those fears are coming back up of when that wasn't okay. And so we're working through, I think, some of that karma too.
Yeah, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense, because like how I was sharing earlier in the video, and I'd shared with Kassia in the past about how I was having some past life patterns that were being revealed around slavery and being enslaved or harmed or like the death or being killed for that energy or for expressing your light and divinity.
Yeah.
In that, because it was, that, wow, that makes so much sense.
Like a lot of times the death card can be a metaphorical card, but I'm feeling like it's a literal card in a lot of senses in these past life readings. Like many lives were cut short, and so it literally, it brings up that trauma response when we start stepping into our light because of this past life stuff.
It's like, am I going to get killed? Am I going to get persecuted? Are people not going to like me? Or am I going to be condemned or judged? Or, you know, something that's like, why? Like, and it's like, really, like, why would I ever fear that? I've never experienced it in this life. Maybe, like, someone said something I didn't like and I took it personal. But
somebody called me weird.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my God, what? Like,
which, by the way, means godlike. That is one of the definitions of the word weird, in case anyone is curious.
I'll be weird all day.
Right?
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you for sharing that, because I didn't even think of that. Okay, so for completion, the wheel, the snake too.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I've never seen this card before.
Yeah, it's amazing. So it says, you have finished a cycle, and there is no more growth or benefit from hanging on to the old. In regards to relationships, it is time to honor what has been and find a new form for the future. In your ventures, it is time to reap your harvest. Completion is a time for celebration, which we got the Three of Cups, which means celebration. It is the end of summer when the fruit is ripe. Wow, that's amazing. So that, and it says, and also for the medicine for it. So clinging to the old form will bring only decay. When fruit is left too long on the vines, it rots. You know that it is time to move on, yet you are reluctant. Do not be afraid of hurting anyone's feelings. Remember that you are responsible for your actions, not the actions of others. Mourn what is lost so you can move on. Do not be sad. Be like the sun at midday, who shines brightly, neither longing for sunrise nor dreading the dusk.
Yeah, so everything that we were talking about, basically, is confirmation right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love it when the cards just line up.
And it's this constant cycle of regeneration, too. You see with the snake who's eating his own tail.
Yeah.
And it's just that, it's a cycle.
Mm.
Yeah. And things, and everything energy does, it changes forms.
Yeah.
So what it said about, allowing things the energy to shift and things to shift into, out of what they're no longer meant to be, into what they're meant to be.
Yeah. I love that. So now we have the eagle. Have you become trapped in your daily routine and feeling you do not know where to go and what to do next? Have you lost your sense of purpose? So this is the questioning of certain things that are coming up. Eagle invites you to take a deep breath and spread your wings. That's awesome. When was the last time you opened them? Eagle reminds you that your oh my god, that's awesome. Eagle reminds you that your spirit was born to soar to the heavens. As you contemplate choices, ask yourself, do I want to live in a chicken coop, sheltered from life, counting the regular feedings, or do I want to soar like an eagle? If your answer is the latter, then you must accept Eagle's invitation and embrace the courage that will help you choose freedom. So I want to read the medicine for it too. So it says, it is a time to see through the eye of Eagle. Let your vision, so that higher perspective, let your vision of the whole and its parts, the completion, become laser-like and set your priorities straight. What did you come to do in this life? Did you come to climb up the ladder of financial or social success? Did you come to become a better person, to heal your heart, and to realize your essential self? What is your divine mission here on earth? No more excuses. Of course, you do not have enough time, enough money, or enough sleep. Yet the time is now to fly to your chosen purpose. If you postpone it, you are betraying yourself. That betrayal that came up in the beginning. Yeah. Look through the eyes of Eagle and consider your every obstacle as an opportunity, changing the perspective on it, which is changing the karma. Where you set your intention is where you'll end up. Free yourself and live your highest destiny. Fly. And that's on page 33.
Is it?
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep.
I just had what was that song, Fly Like an Eagle?
Yeah.
Do you remember that song?
Yeah.
I can't remember who sang that. Like from Space Jam.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh
that
my
was
God.
just all I could hear was that song in my I'm not going to sing it for you guys because trust me. You don't want to hear that. But that's all I could think when you were reading that. That's beautiful.
Yeah, the cards they're always really helpful because they always wrap up what we're talking about or what's coming through, but it's just good confirmation that what we're feeling and like what we're channeling for you is on point, and it's good to have validation for that and to hear what the guides want to channel through for that energy too. So let's ask the Ascended Masters, the Keepers of Light Oracle deck by Lily Moses. Nope, I'm wrong. The artwork is by Lily Moses by Kyle Gray. Alright, so Ascended Masters, what do you have for advice, or what do you have to say to the people tuning into this video? Kuan Yin. That's awesome. So we got Kuan Yin. This is care and compassion, choose to be loved, do what is right for everyone involved, offer a helping hand. And Radha, soul flame. Oh my gosh, that's with the ones that I was thinking.
Oh yeah.
With 11, So it's rediscover a lost part of yourself. Experience relationship, harmony, and healing. Yeah, so this also could be that certain new soul contracts that are coming in is like a soul flame. So I am going to bring this up because I feel guided to that. I watched this girl on YouTube. She is a twin flame reader, but her channel is Indigo Moon's Healing, and she does tarot readings on something called a soul flame. So it's a different relationship dynamic than a twin flame. It's called a soul flame.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I'll send you the link for it. But it's interesting because what she says is that new archetype, because the twin flame is it's an archetype, basically, that the soul flame archetype is very much based on mission. It's very, like, mission-oriented, versus the twin flame can be it can be really helpful for the awakening and stuff like that, but with the soul flame, it releases a lot of the fantasy or idea around what it should look like. But what I'm really feeling is like a lot of soul retrieval stuff with this card, but I'm also feeling like people will be meeting a soul flame with that. And the reason why I say that is because when we were talking about the 11 with the new beginning, and then remember how I was saying the numbers 11 and then 22 and then 33? Yep. But I was seeing 2 ones as in 2 people.
Okay.
And that's why I was about to go down that, and then Spirit kind of cut me off, but then, this came out. And so that could be the new soul contract or releasing of an freaking Mercury in retrograde, motherfucker. I can't talk.
Like, when we release the old soul contracts, we're able to let in the ones that we're making that space for.
Yeah, and the soul flame is very much, it's mission oriented, so the people that are coming in, that's considered a soul flame. So I am feeling like some of it is I feel like some people will be experiencing a new romantic connection, because it does say experience relationship harmony and healing, but I also feel like that's to do with a lot of the soul tribe people coming in when we complete that in the ripple in time. Because if it's a ripple in time, then it's like we're reuniting with the same people in different roles.
Yep.
And I feel like we're being drawn together because we put that call out, which I think we should do a video on.
Yes. Yeah.
Too, in the future. But,
yes.
And then obviously with Kuan Yin, it's care and compassion.
And, choosing love, which is interesting because I was talking about that earlier today, too. Yeah. Just the idea of in every situation, if you don't know what to do, always look at the situation and say, like, what would I choose if I were choosing out of love? Love for myself and love for the other person.
Yeah.
Because if it has to be loving to both parties, or it's not. Like, love never contradicts itself. So if it's not loving for me, it's not loving for you, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Like, it has to be loving, like, just looking at every situation as, like, what would I do in this situation if I were choosing from the highest version of love?
From the heart. And it's like not the perspective of love, but actually the feeling, like dropping into the heart, and feeling, asking your soul, and sometimes what I've asked another person's higher self to communicate with my higher self and help me make the best decision for the highest good, because sometimes I just don't know. Like, my discernment is really challenging.
Yeah.
It feels, I think it's love. I'm kind of sure, like, so it can be really helpful to just ask your higher self to guide you with that. So,
or Kuan Yin.
Yeah, Kuan Yin, or Isis.
Of course. That's our bitch, man. Yep. Every time.
She is with us.
Yes.
All the fucking time.
We love her.
Yep. She's us. We are. We're just incarnated as Isis. So she says, magic manifesting. Your dreams, visions, and goals are becoming reality. Stay focused. So don't lose sight with those eagle eyes. Ooh, that was kind of cool. Oh, it's not happening again. Okay.
Yeah. Rapid manifestation.
Yeah.
Rapid manifestation. And this I'm instantly reminded of something else that we were just talking about yesterday, I think, about how as we awaken more, our minds become more powerful, our thoughts become more powerful, and with that increased power comes increased responsibility.
Yeah.
And so what we think about is becoming, like our thoughts become things, but that's happening more rapidly.
Yeah.
Everything that we think has a heavier weight to it because of the energy behind it has more momentum. So really not being like hyper vigilant. We talked about that too, and like always being like, oh my god, I just thought that, like, what is gonna happen? What am I gonna create? What have I created? You know, like, but constantly just whenever we find ourselves slipping into, and we can judge it by how we're feeling. If I'm feeling off, that means my thoughts are off. So I go back to my thoughts. What am I thinking about right now? Okay, let's reframe that, and let's think about the things that I'm trying to bring about. Let's think about the things that I'm wanting to manifest, the energy. Let me think about the things that are going to put me in the vibration of the things that I'm trying to manifest into my life.
Yeah, and it's really about, because, I mean, we can allow thoughts are going to come in and out of our minds, weird ass fucking thoughts, things that are like, you know, but if we just allow it to come in and out and be the observer, it's really what emotions, the feminine energy, the heart-centered energy, the emotions that we're linking to our masculine, our electric energy that's projecting, which we talked about. And one of our best friends, Tommy, was telling us how he was talking to us about how the heart is the receiver, and you know, the mind is projecting those outward, those thoughts, and that really reminded us and kind of brought us into the conversation of which can be, you know, from another perspective, uniting the feminine and masculine within. But whatever we're charging emotionally, whatever thoughts we're charging emotionally, that's what's going to draw that energy in. But if it's like the more we feed into that thought, the more powerful it gets. But if we just like let it come in and out and then start cooking some fucking spaghetti or something, I don't know, just like...
Yes, the attachment to the thought is what gives it more power.
Yeah.
So not stressing over when we have weird thoughts or thoughts that, you know, are not productive to what we're trying to create. Like, not getting stressed out and being like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm thinking that right now. I'm ruining everything.
I'm the worst.
I'm the worst. I am raining drama upon me. You know, just be like, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's my new thing with everything, is just like, whatever's coming up to me, that's intense, or, oh, that's interesting. You know, just, it's like that healthy level of detachment and just being like, okay, we're moving on now.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
So a ripple in time. That is what's happening. So if you have any questions about that, or if you feel like you need some assistance in regards to that or this healing journey, I offer personal tarot readings. You can click on my email or send me an email in regards to you know, what you're looking for. It's really based on you and what you need at that time. It's really individual. But I also do past life readings and Akashic records readings as well, which can be really helpful in regards to that if you need some clarity.
And I do energy healing.
Yep.
I can do it from anywhere. I can send it to you wherever you are. It absolutely works. It's absolutely effective. It's absolutely beautiful. And it can be really helpful when we're releasing and closing out all of this stuff, and we have you know, I mean, for anything, energy, it's all energy. So tackling anything on an energetic level is going to be extremely beneficial. And it can really help to make all of this ascension process and these processes of closing out these karmic timelines and all of this, you know, all of this stuff. It can help make it a bit of a smoother ride, and it can help us gain some clarity and some acceptance and maybe some peace of mind. Whatever it is, you'll get whatever it is that you need. That's what the energy delivers, is what you need the most at any given time. So my information is down in the box below as well. We have a PayPal link as well, as if you'd like to make a good karma donation. It'd be very much appreciated. Our mission is to supply you with as many videos as we can, as much information as we can, and as much assistance as we can. And that definitely helps so that we're able to do that. It also helps if you want to like, if you want to subscribe, comment down below if you enjoyed this video. Any of that stuff, it all helps to get our message out to more people and to support our channel. And, you know, we really, really love what it is that we do right now, and we want to do more of it.
It's really a part of anchoring in that new paradigm in regards to money and work and what that looks like and aligning those things with our life purpose. And and it really helps shift that. So we're moving into that. We're moving that into that with you as you're moving into that, and we can all do it together, and it really is helpful. So, we support a lot of people, and people support us, and it's just the way that this new paradigm is building in regards to that. So, yeah. All right.
Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, we love you so much.
Yes, and a very happy leap year.
Yeah.
Leap year experience, portal experience to you all. We will see you on the other side.
Yes, we will. Peace and love.